Okay, the for-cause board. We talked about board leadership today. First part of the morning was about that. But there's some questions that don't get asked in most of those presentations that I think it's important for you to have. What is the compensation for your board? Really? You think? You think it's zero? What is the compensation for your board?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Now, what is that? That's an emotion, isn't it? Satisfaction is an emotion. So you have an emotional compensation environment, or what could be considered psychic income. Psychic income, new term. And it's not somebody going, yes, we know you're wearing brown socks. Okay? Psychic income. And if you're not paying your board members psychic income, please get your resume out. Work it out. Because they need compensation. And if you don't understand that, if you think they don't get compensated, and you treat them in a given way that, oh, by the way, because I'm your CEO, you owe me, by the way, that's the quickest way I know that you lose a job. Understand the psychic income necessities of your board. And some of them are stylistic differences because it is an emotional response. I had a CEO that had board issues. It was coming up upon Christmas. I don't know why I use Christmas a lot. Coming up upon Christmas. And she had no loyalty in the board. And she said, Tom, how can I deal with this? And I said, you have a bunch of people you serve every day, but they don't get to see. They only come in and deal with the financials and some of the garbage that you have to deal with. I want you to get little glass ornaments. And I want your clients to write down thank you notes. I want you to gobble them up and put them in those glass ornaments. I want you to get their reward. It worked. It was a hit in the biggest way. Because that distance between that client being held and them disappeared in a heartbeat. Didn't pay me enough. But when you don't get the psychic income, get it. And your life as a professional will go longer and better. So start paying your board and find out what that compensation is. By the way, don't necessarily assume it's associated with their professional world. Remember what happens to us when we come home? We don't want to make decisions anymore because we made them all day. Some of the finance people that come into your boardroom and you go, oh, by the way, would you do the finances for me? They're not really wild about it. By the way, I've seen some of the dumbest things happen because I hand financial responsibilities to the finance person. And then they, well, I got to do it right over here, but I don't have to do it right here. I've had that happen to me. Okay? So don't make those assumptions. Find out what they want. What drove them here? What drove them here? Compensate. Engage your board in tangible decisions. Do you? And by the way, what does tangible look like? If it's approving the minutes and passing on the finances, that is not tangible decision making. Tangible decision making is serious stuff. Now you can frame it and you let them go and you be careful on how you do that. But tangible decision making is what energizes the board. I did something today other than just listen to the 16 reports that we saw last month. Tangible decision making.
And don't you think, I caught this with my board, we actually had a discussion about it in our last board meeting where we are spending too much time on the financials, the improving the minutes, a report from me of what I've done over our last board meeting, which they get when I write my written report anyway. And they now want to go to, encouraged by us, going to a consent agenda first, approve the minutes and the financials,
Absolutely.
get out of the way, and then let's get into some strategic stuff so you guys can do something more tangible and actually do your job, which is hopefully help me down.
I had some of the most fun times, and by the way, go over time on the board most often when I said, here's a problem we're facing. We're trying to outplace these people as we get through rehabilitation. We can't get the businesses to accept them. We've got more people that are prepared and trained than we have positions. I want to bring that issue to the board and I want to do a problem-solving exercise. Wow. And by the way, do be prepared for some crazy ideas. And by the way, put those over there. That's a great idea. We're going to put that one in a parking lot. Now let's go back over here. Okay? By the way, having a moderator on your board where you don't have to do that is sometimes a good idea. And you get to play instead of having to be the authority. careful of having to be the authority. It can get you in trouble. Okay, tangible decision making. Does your board understand their role? I have, the biggest problems I have when I'm dealing with any organization, profit, for cause, whatever, is when they don't understand their role. And particularly when the board chair thinks they're the boss. How many of those have we got? I've seen a few. They think they're the boss. They think they're supposed to tell me what to do. And then I get into a tug of war. That's not a good place. But I've seen it happen. Their role, what is it? By the way, the Kansas City Public Schools suffered from that more than any other issue. The board thought they were managers. And for 20 years, they thought they were managers. It wasn't until 4 years ago that they finally sat down with somebody and said, we're a policy board. We pass policies. We do not make decisions on who gets hired or not. It changed them almost overnight.